It's brake change day for my S60R, and what good is a $70 pad and rotor set gonna be? Let's find out. 2 days, and this tire looks like it's already getting low. I better have to replace that tire. It's probably got a hole in it. It looks like it's driven on the sidewall. See that marking, that rubbing there? Yep. They get hot, and then the inside of them is toast. Also, I've got a bubble in the front somewhere. Good thing I found it, but I'm a little disappointed. That's not good. 235, 40, ZR18, with a weight rating of 95Y. There's a Lamborghini that has a 14.4-inch rotor, and this thing, that's pretty darn close. Wow. These are Pro Stop brand rotors, Pep Boys brand. With my commercial account slash a little elbowing from the guys, I got these down to about $27.90 a piece. That's pretty much dirt cheap for a rotor, especially for a car that's, you know, got a Brembo setup from the factory. Oh yeah, I can see you guys are cringing and shaking your heads already. And check this out, we've got Wagner brake products. These are semi-metallic, and I'm classically trained, so I would say Wagner. Here in America, we say Wagner. Look at the front wheel of every S60 or S80, and you'll see just a bunch of brake dust covering up that aluminum. Believe it or not, yeah, they're aluminum wheels. They're not supposed to be brown wheels. Why not choose ceramic pads? Ceramic pads are great in the sense that they make less dust, and they probably have a higher operating temperature in terms of their effective range, but they do take a little bit to warm up, a couple of stops required. So for that reason, Volvo chose the semi-metallic. Regular metallic is probably really, really dusty. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend that I know more than I do when it comes to braking, because semi-metallic versus regular metallic, they could have the same dust, they could have the same grab. I just know that this was an OEM recommendation in their system, and we're gonna go ahead and just swap it all out and see how it goes. A couple of highway pulls, real bedding in of those rotors. Yes, it can take a couple of on-off cycles, meaning a few drives, a few hard stops on the highway, but we're gonna check how these are. And if these little guys warp in the next 2 months, you know, as I'm putting in 1,000 or 2,000 miles on them, well, daggone it, they're gonna have to replace them, because I ain't gonna keep them. So it's a fun little experiment. We've got a $70 kit. Here we go. Very important, now that we're under the car, to check the angle gear. Lift one wheel, keep the others on the ground, spin it, and see if your drive shaft turns. I gotta stick the camera down underneath so you guys can get a view of that. But look at that oil leak on the angle gear. Ugh. If it's still intact, we could still save it. There's the chance. Looks like I've also got a little bit of a coolant drip. Gotta make sure that we button everything up nice and proper, or at least find out what's going on so that we don't run the risk of overheating. Also, clean out your spider webs. Really fancy brake fluid here, .4, low viscosity. Like I needed the low viscosity, but still, it's good stuff. Interesting note, VADIS, which is the Volvo blah, 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 tells you to do the opposite procedure. Instead of going farthest to closest to the master, it's closest to farthest. I think their logic there is that you're pushing out less dirty fluid through the system than you would be if you were to go back to front. So we're gonna start front driver, front passenger, rear driver, rear passenger, and we're gonna do there's 2 valves per each caliper. See, there's a bleeder valve here and a bleeder valve here. Inner first, then outer on each respective wheel. And got the back jacked up because I gotta pull those wheels off as well. And what else? It also sounds like the clutch is tied into this whole master cylinder here. So if that's the case, then clutch should also be bled. Lots of people say, oh, I never bled the clutch, never had a problem. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're probably just diluting all your brake fluid to the point where the clutch is okay with it. And I see stories more of master cylinder failures than I do of clutch slave cylinder failures. It's not to say it can't happen, but if it's something that you can do, do it. I'm gonna try to poke around underneath after I do the wheels and we'll see what happens. First impressions, minus that, which has been there from the beginning. The pedal feels a little firmer already. I like that. It doesn't feel as spongy. And I didn't notice any results until I bled the rear. Landon knows what he's doing. He's got himself a little scanner and a little app. What's it called?
It's called Torque Light.
Torque Light. And it detected when we went for a drive, he thought, hey, there's a little bit of a miss. And I thought, nah, I'm not getting any codes. Yeah, it was a little bit of a hiccup. Maybe it was some other stuff. And it's giving me a P0304, cylinder 4 misfire, pending. I'm not getting a check engine light for it. It's a spark plug or coil pack. Super common thing on these engines.
Clear your faults.
Is that the only one?
That was the only one. Take off that whole boost pack and get to them.
I hate how ugly this dirt makes everything.
I use literally Dawn and a squirt bottle.
The Canyon filter's only 63 bucks. I don't know if it's worth it. The brakes feel a lot better, but my misfire is now getting worse. So it's not boosting, which is great. I'm really happy that it's got itself a little limp mode. Oh, it's worse. Oh, it's really bad. Oh, the whole car shakes. Noteworthy difference here. This is the R coil boot, and this is a prior to 2006. There's a difference in the length, even different part numbers. It's 12207030027, 12207030014. So, longer boot. Now let's take a look at the coils side by side. I'm definitely one of those guys that's like, well, while you're out here, might as well change all the spark plugs. So I think I'm gonna probably do that. I'm still looking into which spark plugs are the right ones, and if these iridiums from Denso are the right ones, because they're expensive, then yeah, I'm gonna stick with them. Also, the coil packs, there are two versions of the 2.5 liter. There's the non-turbo and then there's the turbo one. Of course, the 2.4 is a turbo, and I think there's a 2.3 even in 04. The coil pack that's used on this S60R is, you know, a little bit shorter than all the others that came before it. And this is the first year of that coil pack being used, and it went all the way up through 2016. So the smart thing to do is look for a coil pack for an 07R, and it did show up in the computer as a different part number, the E1017 by BWD, versus the E371 that they tried selling us by looking up a 2.5, because their computer couldn't say if it was a 2.5 NA or a 2.5 R. And given that everything after 04 is using these fancy coil packs here, then we're pretty much going to try to match that up tomorrow and make sure it's the same one. Got our little rotor gals here on the bench of shame. Look at that groove. I mean, if that was intended, then you guys are winning. Winning.
The right time, but there's something about us I've got to do. Some kind of secret I will share with you.
Well, I was only in town for 4 days this time around, so not a lot I could have done, but I think we are really excited to come back and continue this project. I say we, I'm the lone wolf here on this project. So I hope you've been enjoying these videos, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. There's gonna be a lot more restoration stuff for this car, trying to get it up to a stage 0. Now, people say that affordability and R ownership are sort of mutually exclusive. I don't think that has to be the case. I think if you take care of these cars, they'll take care of you. See you soon.
It doesn't really matter.
42 cents. I just saved $1.80. There seems to be a wave of fear that is gripping the English people. I asked somebody if they knew what time it was, and they said, "I don't have a watch on me. I'm afraid." We're gonna wash these floor mats. Brand new Boschy coil arrived from FCP. That's the good news. The bad news is, oh, and they have the best price. Oh, and they have a lifetime replacement guarantee. What? Bad news is, look at this. This is coil number 1. That's a big crack in it, man. It's gonna go anytime now. The sides all look okay, but really, I should have just ordered 5. What am I doing? Well, let's get it up on the road and go down the line. I'm just buying all new ones. I can't keep doing this. Might as well do the spark plugs now, but you know, all the work that it takes to get that pressure pipe over the engine off, it's not worth it to do this and then have to revisit everything in a few more days' time. So if it means I'm down a vehicle, I'm down a vehicle. BMW's gone. It's sold. Bye-bye. But here we are. I'm just gonna, it's humbling, you know, just sort of learn that lesson. Gap on these bad boys, 28 to 30 thousandths. They are all coming out of these boxes gapped at about 34, 35 thousandths. So we're gonna make sure that we narrow it down. I like to put them right at 28 because, you know, these electrodes, they will wear out over time. So 28 to 30. Just for fun, I checked the gap of the old plugs here to make sure, you know, just to see how they're aging and everything. And they're at about 36 thousandths of an inch. So they're almost 10 thousandths of an inch over what their specified gap should be. Sorry for the wind noise. It's raining on me. I parked the R in the sun today, you know, directly in the sun for a couple hours. And then the gauge started working all of a sudden inside. So it's giving me a couple of messages here. Check it out, 2 messages. Chassis settings temporarily off, anti-skid service required. So hopefully it's an electrical thing that's going on with the all-wheel drive system and it's not actually a mechanical failure, because it's easier to fix the computers than it is to fix the ankle gear. Okay, back here again with the dice hooked up. This is the thing that's going to communicate to the Vita software, if I got that correctly, after our BCM replacement. Breaking news, this just in, and it's actually breaking news. It's not just the latest thing that Donald Trump said on a tweet, which is kind of petty and hilarious that we're constantly covering that. But breaking news, I have to be in LA on Wednesday for an audition, and I'm going to be driving this car out there. So I'm really excited about that, which meant I had to put it back together because my coils weren't going to arrive in time through Rock Auto, which gave me a really nice price. So I ordered a set through FCP. I feel good about the lifetime warranty on all 4, now 5 of them. And it's going to be a fun little trip out there. I get to work on the car while I'm working on other things, since that's a bonus about that's a bonus of bringing the car out with you when you travel and you're there for a while and you have friends and garages to work in. So hopefully not too much work to do while I'm out there. I need tires. There's a lump. There's a lumpy lump, which comes and goes, but I feel it right there. And this one's constantly getting a flat in the rear. So that's a problem. I love this car otherwise. I'm really excited about taking it back to California. It was born and raised in Hollywood, so, well, maybe it was adopted. I could say it was born in Gothenburg. But it's gonna be a fun trip. I'm ranting. Let me see. What's my point? I did another run of the brakes. They're really nice. The pedal's firm. You can push it, and it will slow you down, and it will not start locking up or anything. I'm still getting a ton of torque steer because I'm stuck in front-wheel drive mode. I can put this wheel up in the air and spin it and see if the drive shaft spins, but honestly, I don't really care right now. As long as it doesn't cause any problems for me while I'm out on the road, I will carry on. It's a 1,500-mile round trip, so I think she can make it. I'll be driving her around a lot this upcoming week just to make sure I don't have any other problems. No check engine lights so far. Not enough time to set a code with that run. Important thing is while you're bedding in the brakes, you can see already there's a little bit of a spot here where it's, I don't know if that was a piece of sand that blew in yesterday or something. But as you're letting them cool down finally, just sort of plan your ride like I did, where you don't have to hit the brakes on the way home. I remember reading once that when you're braking in no pun intended. When you're bedding in new pads, you want to do a lot of high-speed stops, I think from 60 to 30, and then accelerate back up to 60 to 30. Do that a couple times. Don't actually come to a full stop. And it can be tricky, but you should know your neighborhood well enough to do something like that. And then let it roll to a stop on its own, giving it adequate time to cool without actually pressing the pedal for it to clamp down. Oh yeah, check out the other videos if you haven't. We've got this wagon. It's gonna get started. I know it looks like a mess. I've just been kind of scrambling around this morning trying to get things finished. And Arthur's here waiting on some carburetor parts. So busy, full house. Also did this with Soren today. Pull the axle off a 240 wagon. I will continue today and furthermore to always sing high praises of Discount Tire. I love these guys. I'm loving this car. These tires look great. A little greasy, but it could use a wash, so I'm not gonna complain. Let's get some first impressions.
Fucking thing is gone.
10.78 at 128. Boom. This is why I love local shops.
Don't put nothing above me. Can't stop now. I'm the one. You're making me feel like.
Look at that, all that stuff. That's an FM transmitter. I'm over here wondering what I gotta do to make this work. Ooh. P.S. This is sometimes where your automatic climate control won't work because it's covered in dust. It's got a little fan in there. Do you see that? Do you see how it just sucks it up? You see that? Now that the alignment's taken care of, I've got a 1,500 mile round trip. And I need coils. FCP, I did overnight shipping because Rock Auto said they were going to be here 2 days too late, although they came a day and a half early. These guys are awesome. However, FCP, I haven't paid for overnight shipping. Still not here. So I guess I'm going to have to return those and see if they'll help me out there on the shipping costs. But it's time to get these guys back in. Also had a low coolant light, so something happened when it got real cold and it was just below the level. So I need to make sure that's topped off.
Now I'm living. My ears are ringing. My body's screaming. This is unbelievable. Heart is young, the rest is up to you. Why you gotta take it morning? Why you gotta take it morning? Why you gotta say the night is young, the rest is up to you. Why you gotta take it morning? Why you gotta take it morning? Why you gotta say the night is young?
Fingers crossed. Boy, we gotta get rid of that valve tick, but look at those HIDs. Ah. LOL, these lights are, one of them is a replacement. And I'm willing to bet it's the right side. Because the Kelvins are off, dude. It's not cool anymore. It's like warmer color on one end. Know your Kelvins, man. Know your freaking Kelvins. Know your Kelvins. 5 things you didn't know. One of the things. Here you go. You get a fuzzy glove box latch because these like to squeak. Here's another thing you didn't know. There's a card holder right there. Might be one of those crazy Volvo features, but if you honk the horn, cruise control turns off. Ready? It's off. This alignment sucks. It's my first day at the Hollywood audition.
You want